It's the Kyle Hyman Show on Redeemer Radio.
This is Kyle Hyman, and I'd like to introduce you to Angelo DiCarlo, the new director of sports for Redeemer Radio's Michiana station, 95.7. He's going to be hosting Tailgate Talk on Friday evenings before high school football broadcasts and a brand new Notre Dame focus show, Irish Sports Saturdays, which is, of course, on Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. Thanks for being here, Angelo.
Hey, Kyle. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. Why do you like covering sports?
That's interesting. I think because I've always done it. When I was 4 years old, my brother is 13 years older than me, and he kind of got into sportscasting when he was first starting.
Really?
When I was 4 years old, I was hyper sports fanatic. I would grab the newspaper. I know kids would never do this anymore. I would grab the newspaper and write down all the standings of like Major League Baseball or the NFL, wins, losses, percentages, games back, and I'd bring it up and I wake up my brother, who was probably sleeping in at 17, 18 years old, and I'd wake him up and be like, hey, here are the standings, and I'd start trying to broadcast it at 4 years old. So I guess it was just only natural it was going to happen.
Yeah. Can you give a little bit of your history of broadcasting and sports over the years?
Yeah, like I mentioned, my brother is a sportscaster as well, and he's older, so he kind of got me in the business early. I started working when I was 16 behind the scenes at a local cable station back in Pennsylvania, and then I worked there through college. I went to Syracuse, went to the U.S. School of Broadcasting up there, and then kind of got my first big break when I was doing stats for a minor league basketball team and the play-by-play guy while I was a sophomore in college. Got a job with the Sixers doing corporate sales, and they had nobody to do the radio. And I was like, well, I kind of did some stuff at college, and they just let me do it. So I got to do that for 3 summers, and then worked in my hometown of Allentown, Pennsylvania for 2 years after college, and then got an offer from WNDU 11 years ago, and have been out here since, and have really enjoyed my time in Michiana, and my wife and I got married a year ago, and we weren't looking to leave once I departed WNDU, and now having this opportunity at Redeemer Radio has been really, really exciting, and I'm excited to get back into play-by-play because that's kind of where I started, doing radio play-by-play for that minor league basketball team. So now I get to do that on Friday nights with the high school football game, starting tonight with St. Joe and Concord, and then, of course, also doing pregame show with Notre Dame Federal Credit Union Tailgate Talk. So I'm really pumped up and fired up. I haven't been on the air officially in a while, so it's going to be a blast to be back on the air tonight.
Well, and we're so excited to have you as part of the team, but what drew you to Redeemer Radio?
Well, the aspect to still be covering high school sports and Notre Dame in this area was big. We could have left the area and tried another market, but I really enjoy high school athletics in Michiana. So the opportunity to continue to do that was something that I saw at Redeemer Radio. I was like, this is great. We can spread the Catholic mission through sports. I get to continue to serve sports, and we've come up with this great idea of doing an internship program with high school students.
Yeah.
So we're doing that with the high school students from St. Joe and Marion. And, we're starting small because it's a new program. We have 5 kids that are on board, including the star player for the Marion football team. So he's going to be mostly a basketball season guy. But we're fired up. It's really neat because, Kyle, you know how tough our business is to be in broadcasting and everything like that. Why should these kids find out sophomore, junior year of college how tough it is?
Right.
Maybe it's better that they find out senior year of high school, and then they can decide, yeah, I'm all in on this, or maybe I should go another direction. So we want to give them the practical skills so that when they do go to college, if they want to do this, they got a leg up on everybody else because it's such a competitive business. And we want to give them the opportunity, no matter what their mission in life is going to be, to kind of get hands-on experience. So it's a really cool opportunity, and I really love that aspect of this job.
Well, yeah, and experience is so important, especially in something like broadcasting. Education can be great, but hands-on experience is so valuable. Are there still positions open if people are interested in just hearing about it for the first time and saying, oh, I'd like to intern?
Yeah, if a student from St. Joe Marion, is hearing this, or a parent saying, why isn't my kid doing that? we can probably squeeze in one or two more kids. We're looking to grow. So just email me at angelo.dicarlo@redeemerradio.com, and we have a little application process, but we can definitely add some more. We're going to reach out to the high schools one more time. They're in chaos mode because school just started, so we're going to give them a few days to get their bearings straight, and then we're going to be on the principals again saying, hey, anyone else you can think of that may want to do this? So we got some good kids. We brought one out. One was with me the other day at Marion. I had him shoot the interview on his iPhone. We're doing a lot of the stuff just straight on our phones, which is crazy what you can do now. And he did some video of practice on his iPhone. And I told him, all right, your assignment for the next 2 days is to put this video on top of the interview and send it over to me for critique. And he left the station at, 7 o'clock. And at 8:15, he sent me the video.
Nice.
So he got it done pretty darn fast. So I was like, wow, that's awesome. This kid's doing it maybe as fast as I am, if not faster. So really cool. So it's neat to see how invested they are already into the project.
We're talking with Angelo DiCarlo. He's the new director of sports for Redeemer Radio's Michiana station, the 95.7. And you talked a little bit about spreading the faith in sports. How do you see these two things fitting together, sports and faith?
Well, I mean, I think one of the aspects that people fail to remember is that sports is an extension of who someone is. So many people gather around and they play sports and everything it is, and it's about team, it's about camaraderie, it's about coming together. So, and I think a lot of people do that in church as well with their faith, and they come together with Jesus as well. So I think it all can come together, especially at the Catholic high schools. They're always doing their pregame prayers, their halftime prayers, and after the game, St. Joe Marion will play in week 3, and both teams, after playing a hard-fought game that both teams really, really want to win because it's the most important game of the year, they will both come together and do the post-game prayer together.
Yeah.
And I think that's really special because that brings the community together. And I think that's what sports does. It helps bring the community together. And I think that's one of the things why sports is important on Redeemer Radio.
Can you talk a little bit about the plans for covering high schools on 95.7?
Yeah, so we'll cover the St. Joe and Marion games. Tonight we've got St. Joe at Concord as our first game of the season, and then have the pregame show, the Notre Dame Federal Credit Union Tailgate Talk starting at 6, and then it's a 90-minute edition tonight leading up to kickoff at 7:30. St. Joe got thrown a interesting twist just out of nowhere late last week that South Bend schools decided to switch from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. for schools. And St. Joe uses South Bend buses. Nobody knew this was coming. So they couldn't get a bus in time to get them out to Elkhart County in time for a 7 o'clock kickoff. So they had to switch it to 7:30. So there's been a lot of juggling that has surprised a lot of people, to say the least. So we're blessed that we get to do a 90-minute edition of Tailgate Talk tonight. And then we'll have the St. Joe Concord game. And then next week we'll have Marion and Glenn. And then, like I mentioned, week 3 is the big holy war between St. Joe and Marion. So we'll rotate between the two of them. We'll do 5 games each. And then we'll do 20-plus games in basketball season. And we'll do some girls' games in there as well. So we're really excited. It's going to be a blast to be able to showcase all these games all season long between football and basketball on 95.7.
And then what is the Notre Dame show going to be like?
Yeah, so I have covered Notre Dame football since I got here for 11 years. Here's how I'll say it. I was the last person people saw before the national broadcast started for Notre Dame home games, and I was the first person people saw after Notre Dame home games on WNDU. So I have a pretty decent following, I think, for Notre Dame football, and I'm hoping to bring some of those people along to kind of introduce them to Redeemer Radio. We will do the X's and O's. We will talk about the game. We will preview how Notre Dame is getting set for Michigan, but we're going to try to do some other stuff that's unique. We're hoping to really emphasize a focus on faith segment where we can sit down with a player and talk about his faith and how faith and football come together. And we're hoping to do that each and every week. We've got a nice list of players that we're looking to speak to, and that'll be a longer conversation. Maybe instead of it being a 2-minute conversation, it's a 5 to 10 minute conversation, kind of like you and I are talking here, Kyle. And that's something that doesn't happen very often with elite college athletes. So I think it's something that can get us towards more who the person is than just who the football player is.
All right, so we got Friday evenings before high school football games. We got Tailgate Talk, and then you've got the Notre Dame show, Irish Sports Saturdays, Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. Also, I know that you're doing a lot on social media, and so how can everybody keep up with other things besides the broadcast that's going on?
Yeah, we've kind of gone all in on the 95.7 Sports Twitter handle. It's at 957 Sports, so you can follow that. We've had great traction on that, and the student interns are continuing to help. In fact, they're going to be running the accounts for the St. Joe and Marion games. One of our interns from St. Joe will be at the game with us, and he'll be tweeting and posting from St. Joe. And then one of our other interns, who's from Marion, will be in the student section at Marion, also posting updates. So we'll have updates from those games. And then we also launched a Redeemer Radio 95.7 Sports Facebook page. So feel free to join us on both of those. And if you want to follow me individually, it's at Angelo DiCarlo on Twitter. And you can search for Angelo DiCarlo on Facebook as well to follow me there.
And there's so many videos that you're posting and on the field with the players and coaches and stuff. Definitely want to be following that. Of course, if you're not able to go to the game, it's a great way to keep in touch and listen. You can listen to the broadcast. But if you're at the game, you could listen as well. You can listen on your phone through the app if you don't have a little portable radio or whatever. But also, I encourage people, if you're at a game and you see people that aren't at the game, family and friends, text them, let them know that Redeemer Radio is broadcasting the game and they can listen from home. And who knows, maybe we get more listeners that way. So.
I like that idea. Text grandma and grandpa. And here's the beauty. You have friends and family that are out of town. They can listen to the game.
That's right.
It doesn't have to be people that are just here, because through the Redeemer Radio app or redeemerradio.com, or if you want to use TuneIn Radio, you just search WRDI. You will find us one way or another. So you can find us just about anywhere. So we have a lot of options for people to listen to us. And of course, obviously, turning on 95.7 FM in Michiana as well.
And obviously, the FM station is just wherever you are. You listen to whatever's local. But you can always switch if you want to listen to a game, or if people in the Fort Wayne area listen on 106.3 want to hear the Notre Dame show, the Irish Sports Saturdays, you can just stream the 95.7 feed from your smartphone or from redeemerradio.com, wherever. So
absolutely.
You got
starting
all kinds
September
of options.
1st on the Notre Dame show for the big Notre Dame-Michigan game that everyone up in this neck of the woods is really, really looking forward to.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us, and it's so exciting to have you as part of the team, Angelo. I know people have been really excited that you decided to partner with us, and I know these shows are going to be really great. So thanks for joining us today. Appreciate it.
All right, Kyle. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it as well.